Hey, welcome back to HVAC Success Secrets Revealed with Thaddeus and Evan, where we have good conversations with good people, and any good conversation worth having is worth having drunk. Cheers, my friend.
Cheers.
Well, I know your internet's been super laggy today, so I'm probably going to end up having to do all the talking here, but that's all right.
Par for the course with this show lately.
That's about right. Yeah, internet in Canada, it gets a little slow. The dog sleds get in the way. Igloo, just the signal doesn't travel through it well, so.
I dog sled ran into the power pole outside my house.
It happens. Only in Canada. All right. Today we got on none other than Kenny and Kim Byrne from Call the Bee. They are up in Connecticut area, and they are running an absolutely phenomenal business. I mean, they've got a tremendous brand. They're crushing it with that. But I mean, the two of them are incredibly intelligent. We got a chance to meet them when we were at the Flywheel Budgeting Workshop, which happened down in Dallas at the JB Warranties facility. Gorgeous facility, by the way, if you haven't checked it out. I highly recommend that. I did reach out to TJ actually and just asked him really quick for a couple quick thoughts on Kenny and Kim. And he said that they are truthfully probably the most underrated operators in the industry, and that Kim may be the nicest human being in the home services. So I'm super excited for this conversation because I remember personally from sitting there with them in Dallas and having conversations, the amount of knowledge that the two of them possess is absolutely phenomenal. Their depth of understanding of how to run an HVAC business is truly incredibly underrated, I think, in terms of operators. Like TJ said, like, this is going to be a fantastic conversation, and his background is tremendous. I mean, he started one business when he was 19 years old, got screwed out of that one, was brought into another business, got screwed out of that one, grew both of them tremendously, then started Call the Bee, and their growth has been phenomenal. So I'm super excited for this conversation. You got anything to add to that?
No, I was just thinking that you basically nail these intros every single time, and I'm just here for the good looks.
That's about it. You're the eye candy.
There we go.
All right. On to our sponsors, because without them, this show would not be possible. Do you want to give her a go?
Yep. Chiirp, Profit Rocket, Sera, On Purpose Media are the ones. Of course, if you're looking for a text automation platform, Chiirp is the ultimate toolbox for home service pros. I like the direct integration, aka drop-down menus, to connect your Service Titan, Housecar Pro, Jobber, soon to be Sera. It does automated text messages, emails, ringless voicemails, direct mail, rehash programs, more Google reviews, on and on and on it goes. Of course, if you want to get your first 3 months not free, 25% off, chiirp.com / that's a long URL. I'll put that in the show notes for later. It should be there. So click on that. You get 25% off your first 3 months. And it goes right into a field service management software itself, which is Sera Systems. And Sera, they help on the back end of your business by saving you time, increasing your memberships, increasing your margins, increasing your cash flow, tracking real-time job efficiency. It's a phenomenal powerhouse built on actual data. And the part that I like about it is that users of Sera show an average increase in revenue of 52% within the first 6 months, with the icing on the cake being that they more than double their profits. So check them out, sales.sera.tech / HVAC-revealed to learn more.
And last but certainly not least, we got Call Profit Rocket. Profit Rocket, they've got their blueprint. They've got events coming up. You need to check these things out. Look, if you want to understand what it is that Victor did to grow his business from 0 to 40 million in 4 years, everything is detailed in this blueprint, from financial statements to be able to grow your business, not just on top line revenue, but bottom line profits. Because at the end of the day, what's the saying again? Revenue is vanity, profits are sanity.
Yes.
Nailed it. Fuck yeah.
EBITDA right there.
That's what it's all about. If you want the SOPs on how to run your business, from the front end staff to the call staff, dispatchers, running the calls themselves with technicians and actual scripts, tune-ups, how to run the process, go check out the business blueprint. Call profitrocket.com for that. They've also got their women's event coming up. Go get registered for that. If you are a female in the trades, it's going to be a super powered event run by Michelle, who we had on the show a couple weeks ago, I guess it was now, about a month ago. And then, of course, they've got their whiteboard party that's coming up in April, I believe it is. Go to the website, check it out. All the details are on there. And now,
Let's go.
On with the show.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Welcome to HVAC Success Secrets Revealed, a show where we interview industry leaders and disruptors, revealing the success secrets to create and unleash the ultimate HVAC business. Now your hosts, Thaddeus and Evan.
I almost knocked my whiskey off my.
Oh my God, that would have been
I wouldn't
devastating.
dream of doing that.
I have these coasters that are like,
Shameless
I would probably say 3/4 of an inch high. These coasters from our old tile in our other house, and I almost knocked it off. I was like, oh,
That would have been devastating. Kenny, Kim, welcome.
What's up, man?
Super excited to have you on the show today. I mean, I already gave the intro, so I'm not
I
going to.
know. I'm still blushing. I'm like still the same color.
I know, right? You're matching your beard. It's great.
Exactly.
Awesome. Well, let's get into the background because your journey to where you're at right now has been one of a lot of lessons, trials, tribulations, successes, and failures. So why don't you walk us through a little bit of that background story and how the two of you came to where you're at now?
Yeah, sure. So we call it overcoming adversity. So just that's the professional way of talking about it.
Yep.
But I grew up in the construction industry with my parents. They both built houses since I was about 3 years old. Pretty much to afford us, me and my brothers, short hockey careers. We played ice hockey growing up, and that was really expensive with a bunch of us playing. So they built houses, and we got into. I was always on the jobs with them, working with the plumber, the HVAC guy. Ended up going to work with their HVAC guy for a number of years, learning my skills. Went to technical high school in Torrington, Connecticut, where it was pretty awesome because I would have probably flunked out of high school. I got to go to work for 2 days a month, and then I had to do a little bit of schoolwork for 2 days a month. They gave me a little break, so that was pretty cool.
That makes it a lot easier.
Yeah, and it actually gave me all my work hours and my schooling hours. So I was actually got my journey person's license before I even graduated high school. Got my first business license right out of high school at 19. Started our first company. Grew that painstakingly hard for the first 10 years because we did a lot of commercial work. Found a next star. One of my good friends, Jeff Leone, he owns a big commercial company in Connecticut. Turned me on to them, and literally, Kim can tell you, I sat there and watched every single video, read every document on their thing, spent hundreds of thousands of dollars going to every single training thing that they had, and really learned their program and then implemented the shit out of it. So, and then here we are.
Well, I think that's one of the things that's already, I mean, it's a skill set that not many people have in terms of implementing what it is that they know. A lot of people talk about knowledge is power, and it's not. Knowledge is potential power, right? What you do with that knowledge is where the power comes from. So this ability to actually apply what it is that you're learning, where did that come from?
I'm going to give that credit to my father. I mean, I always sat there. The guy was just, he could do anything, you know what I mean? So that was pretty awesome. And I used to watch him. He'd watch videos on his phone or whatever, then all of a sudden he's doing it, and I'm like, oh shit, all right. So I'm like, that's a skill that we can use. So if we learn how to do something, just do it. You know what I mean? And no need to reinvent the wheel. People have been doing business for a long time. There's some really great books out there. Ken Goodrich has one that's helped me a lot. It's Sales Machine. Gino Wick
pretty all right.
Has some good books. And they tell you what to do, and if you can listen to what they do and implement it, it actually works. Can you believe that?
Weird.
Well, it's funny that you say that, because like a lot of people, they go and like, okay, well, I'm going to learn this thing. Well, what do they know? Why do I need to follow that? Right. And they get in their own way, and they get this ego check sort of things that they just, their ego gets in the way. Right. And they want to do it. Like, there's no need to invent the wheel. Why not just stand on the shoulders of giants, of people who have already done it before? right? And put that aside and say, like, the words that people are afraid to hear is, I need help with, or ask, or rather, I need help with, I don't know how to do. But if you just learn,
Right.
you're going to have a lot of success.
The answer's out there. We got this thing right in the palm of our hands. It tells us everything.
Right.
You know what I mean? So, I mean, and on top of that, you have to be able to think outside the box too. So you have to be able to take what they teach you, because they're not giving you the answer. They're giving you the Cliff Note version of what's going on, and then you really need to have the time to think about it. Which that's where I'm very lucky, right? I have my wife Kim, who helps operate the business, make sure this thing is running properly. And then we have an amazing team here of leaders that run this business for us, so that I can literally pace around this place and literally think all the little idiosyncrasies that are going and aren't efficient, and then really think about it, put it on paper, and make it better, fix it once, and move on to the next thing.
Right.
So,
well, you mentioned Kim, so we want to make sure that we give you some attention here as well.
Okay.
So Kim, how did you get into the trades? How did you get into your role with Call the Bee now?
Well, I started off in large utilities. I worked in water companies, sewer companies, electric companies, large ones. And then it's just a different scale, the HVAC. It's very similar, it's just a little bit different. So I had an understanding of that since, way back. I met Ken, and it just clicked with me. Everything that he was going through, I've kind of been through that in the corporate world. He had lots of ideas, he had lots of energy, he has lots of drive, and I just kind of dovetailed what I learned and what I understood into what Ken does. So just a silent partner. Ken's like the boisterous person, and I'm kind of on the background, but I just want to make him shine every day. So we just work together like that.
I love that. I mean, every Batman needs their Robin, right?
that's right.
I'm the Batman in our relationship. So that like, we haven't had a lot of husband and wife teams on, and we've had a few. And I always love asking this question, because a lot of people are like, I would never be able to work with my spouse. Like, my wife and I were talking about this the other day. I'm like, I don't think we would be able to work with each other unless somebody else was, overseer, right? So, coming into business with a husband and wife team and the business that you guys have built, how do you manage? I've got a couple questions on it. How do you manage a work-life balance, for one, but also how do you manage the relationship with each other while at the office?
We just love to be with each other. I don't know.
Aww.
We have fun.
Right.
We're working on something. We have lots of passion for it, and it's every day's an adventure, and it's just I love going to work every day with Ken. So
we haven't worked a day in our life. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's, and just a couple on top of that, like, we're changing people's lives here. We're providing them with an opportunity to come and join our organizations or partner with other companies and literally just infuse our business system and operations, very quickly. And it's Kimmy always told me, she's like, listen, Ken, it doesn't matter how much money we make, that's not why we're doing this. As long as we focus on, we're here to change people's lives and to provide people with an opportunity for a better place to work, okay, an easier place to work that's efficient, where people can go home, come and do their job very easily, as easy as we can make it for them, and pay them as much as we can for them to do it, by being efficient, which allows us to do that. We'll never have to worry about money in our life, and we should never have to worry about ever having to beg for people to come work for us. And so far, we've stuck to that plan of, we're going to provide people with opportunities, and it's not about us anymore. You know what I'm saying? It's all about our people, and providing them with opportunities, because that's why people want to stay, and that's why people are flocking in to join our company, or at least want to. Not everyone gets to, because one bag egg ruins the whole carton, and so we're very cognizant of who we bring into our organizations, who we teach our methods to, and then surround ourselves with just really amazing people, and it frees Kim and I up to be able to really think about these companies and build the system that we've built, and to help others. So
I do want, I mean, those who have listened to the show know that I say a lot of times it's people, product, profit, in that order. But the people is actually a twofold. Number one is your employees first. And when you take care of your employees, guess what? The number two on the people is your customers.
Right.
And when you take care of your employees, they're going to take care of your customers, and then they're going to believe in your product, which then impacts your profit. If you mess with that order, it's going to fuck shit up, right? But one thing that you mentioned in terms of building a culture and being cognizant on who you hire and who you bring into your culture, how do you, in your interview process, weed those potential, and look, you're going to miss the odd one. We're only human, but how do you look to weed those bad apples out so they don't spoil the whole bunch?
So I'll start off by saying this, and then I'll let Kim go
No,
in, because she's the mastermind behind it.
Ah.
Actually finding the people in it. So one thing is that we have a very specific saying. We look, and it's trademarked. It's happy, productive professionals, and that's all we want to surround ourselves with. So so just like we have to market for work for our people, we also have to market for people to join our company that we actually want to work with and surround ourselves with. And then not only surround ourselves with, surround our other people with, because if people can't get along, then I'm telling these guys all the time, we can have a great sales organization, we can have the best sales process in the world, and really get people excited about having really great comfort systems and the service that we provide after. But if we don't have the support of an install team, we just have a bunch of work piled up that we can't even get done. You know what I'm saying? So it's everything that we do is very thought through. We are looking and asking for these type of people to come and work with us, and then they come. And then Kimmy, also go ahead and tell them what you do.
Well, no, I just to kind of go on that. So it's very easy to find these people because, like we said, we hire a very specific type of person. Happy, productive professional. That's what that's what we hire. And they also like to work with other like-minded, happy professionals, productive professionals. So you almost see it when they come in the door. And there's a lot of businesses that talk about like core values and this and that, and they're so diluted. There's like 6 of them, and you can't remember what they are. The company doesn't really, they might have it up on the wall, but like people don't really pay attention to it, or they kind of know what some of the core values are, the vision, and this has been going out on for decades now. But if you make it very simple, keep it simple, stupid, happy, productive, professional, and that's it. That's very easy. That's our culture. That's the people we employ, and it's just a great team that we've brought together. So
right. And on top of that, they're also contracted. It's in their contract when they come to work with us that we expect you to act like this, and if you don't, then you can't be a part of our team.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So
100%. Well,
it holds people accountable. Sorry, Evan.
No, absolutely. And yeah, no apologies necessary. You're not Canadian.
Hey.
No way. No, I think that's really the difference between having a mission statement, having a culture statement, and living it. Right? Like the ability to actually hire, fire, make decisions against your core values, against the mission of your company. And can your team recite it? Like, it's okay to have 5 or 6 core values. Look at what Grasshopper does, right? Her whole entire team can recite it like the Pledge of Allegiance. Like, it's unbelievable. But that's their culture, and they live it on a daily basis. You do the exact same thing, but keeping it really simple. And that's okay too. Both methods work, but the core principle of living the culture, that doesn't go away.
Right. So what's really cool is so we, in the beginning of this venture, right, we let a couple of the guys that have been with us for a long time bring in some characters that really didn't belong with us.
Right.
And I allowed it to happen because I wanted them to see if we bring in the wrong people, what happens and how everyone's lives get affected by it. Right. So now what's really cool is I don't have to fire anybody. Right. They all come to us when someone doesn't belong.
Wow.
And they're like, hey, listen, and usually we don't take the word of just one guy. Multiple people have to come to us. But they've seen over the, because I've had guys that have been with me for 14 years that are still with us. I have a 20-year-old veteran that's with me. 14 years, 10 years, a kid that right out of school, Tyler Smith kid's awesome, man. I love the fucking kid, dude. Like, so proud of that kid, man. Another kid, Joey's a $3.5 million a year sales selling tech. Just we have a phenomenal team, and when someone is getting out of line, they come to us and they're like, hey, listen, it's almost like what was that show? We put their torch out. You gotta exit the island.
Survivor, yeah.
Yeah.
So it just makes it easier because we've created a culture of people are bought in, right? And they're bought into how we operate these businesses, and they want to be a part of it. They want to keep it because they get to make really great money. We got so many young kids this year that bought homes, really nice homes. They're having families, and they're like, man, let's not screw this up. You know what I mean? This is, we have an awesome company. It's super easy to go to work, and then I get to go home and enjoy myself. This is like, it's unbelievable until you come and see it. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And be a part of it. So
A word that I just
that's all I got to say about that.
A word that I wrote down here was standards. Like, you get what you tolerate.
Right.
And I love that you let that happen early on in the company. So you could set that standard of, this is what's unacceptable, and this is the reasons why. And you had those conversations. A lot of times as an owner, it's really easy to make a decision within your company and not have your team understand why it is that you're making that decision. And if they don't understand the why, it's impossible to get buy-in.
Right. And like I tell them, Evan, let's say, listen, we can be a huge company.
Yeah.
We can.
Yeah.
Do we want to be a huge shitty company, or do we want to be a really, a decent, really good, decent sized company and just be the best and dominate the markets that we go into?
Correct.
You know what I'm saying? So it's just a different way of thinking. I'm not here to the money. I've been in business for a long time. We're fine. I'm 38 years old. I can retire if I want to, but that's never going to happen. I'm not wired like that. I need stuff to do. So,
and just to give Ken some credit, so he's an awesome trainer, teacher, coach, and he always comes out with a statement, and he always asks them, and why. He tries to get them to think of, why am I telling you this? So he gets them to think a little bit more, or think about what they're doing.
Right.
What is the why?
Right. If you get people that's our job as leaders. And, I'm going to pull out my wallet here, and I have to look at this every day, but this is what my wallet says. My name's Kenny Byrne, and I'm here to build leaders. Right. So how do we build leaders? We get them to think, because if they have to come to me for the answer, I'm just a crutch, and I don't want to be a crutch. Right. Then I can't really, think about this business and shoot. I don't know what the heck happened there. Now we're all blurry. Then my time is fighting fires, and that's not a great use of my time. I really need to think, and it's my job it's really, well, not even my job, it's Kim and I's job to really think about our businesses. Where are our deficiencies? How do we make this, repeatable and measurable, and fix what's going on, and so that it never happens again, and then we can all just continue moving forward, right?
Well, this is something that Gary Keller has said. I mean, he's the founder of Keller Williams Real Estate, the largest firm in the U.S., right? A leader's responsibility is not to teach people what to think, but how to think.
Right.
Yeah, because if all you're doing is micromanaging every decision that they're making, where does that provide any freedom for you to be able to do the things that you need to do as a leader?
Zero.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Now, I'm really curious. I've got 7 different directions that I wrote down here that we could go with all of this, because this has been phenomenal.
Right.
I did wrote down lack of passion. I'm noticing that there's a lack of passion behind your explanation in a lot of things here. That's total. I'm kidding, by the way.
I could sense
okay,
sarcasm.
great. Just making sure.
That's why you're not looking anymore.
Not everybody gets up on our act, where the fuck is he going with this?
I mean, it's really easy to get a lot of buy-in from people when you show up with the level of passion that you're doing. And so when you're taking the time to put together this thoughtful process, and you've talked a lot about efficiencies, I'm curious what the journey was like to where you're at right now, where you're able to step back from making the day-to-day decisions and think about how can we improve processes as opposed to what is it that needs to get done right now.
Right.
Because obviously it's not always like that. And I know there's going to be a lot of business owners that are listening to this right now and it says, yeah, that sounds fucking great. I would love to be able to do that. Meanwhile, I'm still in my truck running calls. What was that journey like for you, going from even in some of the other businesses that you were running, if that takes it back far enough to be able to get to that point, but to get to this place of being able to think through processes to create the procedures that you have right now within your business and to be looking at efficiencies versus just doing the day-to-day mundane tasks that we all get stuck doing.
Right. So everybody can relate to this, right?
Mm-hmm.
We have our sales team or a guy out there selling, right? And he goes to the job, he talks to the customer, he makes the sale, everyone's pumped, we got the sale. Then somebody orders just the pieces of equipment, right? And usually so they probably got to go to a supply house somewhere and pick it up. So now we're killing a whole hour or 2 hours there. Then the guy goes to the job, right? And he's already all stressed out, and the anxiety's here. I don't know if I'm going to finish this yet because I have nothing. I got to go there and make a list. Then I got to go back to the supply house for 2 or 3 hours because the line's slow. They got new help, right? And then now it's 1, 2 o'clock in the afternoon, and I still got to get this job done today, right? So that was step one, right? I hated that, and we used to do that. My brother Chris and I had to be out till 10 o'clock at night doing boilers because we just have everything, any type of heating system that you can imagine, we have to deal with here, and boilers suck, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they take sometimes 2 to 3 days to do those new wall hung combi boilers, and about 8 or 9 years ago, I was like, this is absolutely ridiculous, right? There has to be a better way, or I don't even want to do this anymore, right? And not only that, we're doing a disservice to our customer because now we have them without heat for multiple days. We got to drain the thing, pull it out, then build a wall there, put the whole thing together. And if it's not a process, right, or a repeatable process, now the guy builds it however he wants. Why are my materials all out of line? Well, because the guy built this huge monstrosity because he thinks that that's what's cool. You know what I'm saying? And he wants to step back and take a picture. I'm like, dude, I built that. That's awesome, right? Because that's how our installers are, and that's why they do installs. But now we're here sitting at the office. We're like, shit, man, we're not making any money. What the hell's going on here? Like, why are all these jobs going over, right? So that was a huge light bulb for me. And I'm just like, there has to be an easier way. And if I'm going to do this, I need to train people how to do that. I need to, make processes and procedures, how we do pretty much everything in this business, from, how they come in the morning. They go across the street to the supply house by design, dump their trash over there, hand their kits in, come over here, grab everything. We keep the trash next door so our place stays beautiful, right? And part of this, really amazing place and space. You grab your stuff that's all checked in, ready to go for you, every single part, even things that you don't need, and you get to go off and have yourself a fine day. You know what I'm saying? And if you need something, we got a team next door that's going to bring stuff to you, and we're here to help you out. You know what I'm saying? So it's just, the whole thing stemmed back from, everyone talks about an experience. Well, we need an experience throughout this whole company, because if our CSRs are not happy and we're not getting lunch for them and we're not taking care of them and we're not, fulfilling their needs, the whole business stops, right? Because if they're not answering the phone, we got nothing to do, right? So it's just, we weren't doing business very well, right? And we were still making a lot of money. It was crazy to think of how we were. But then when we really, put some thought into this and pump the brakes for a second, like, all right, we need to slow down. We need to regroup here. And we really need to think about, making this a repeatable process. Because my original goal was, and who knows, it still might happen, I got a long time, was to bring this brand nationwide, right? And I'll steal this from Tommy Mello, who's a really great guy, a good friend of mine. But, my goal has to be big enough for everyone else to fit in it, or else we're not going anywhere, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then people want to go and start their own businesses or whatever if we can't provide them with opportunities. But that's really what it stemmed off of, is I was like, man, this working till 10 o'clock at night is really a bunch of guys that I grew up with in the trades got divorced, and I'm like, I promise this is never going to happen at any company that I operate. And we are not going to beat up our people. We're going to give them the time to do things. We're going to make it efficient for them so that they can get the job done and go home and enjoy themselves, right? Because if we're burning people out, they're out of here, right? Mm-hmm. Or even just making, not everyone in the world wants to be a business owner. They don't want to deal with the stuff that Kim and I have to deal with and other business owners, right? It's not easy by any means, but if we can make these, and neither is installing this stuff, right? It's heavy. There's a lot of parts. There's a lot of tools that we need. There's a lot of knowledge that you need to have to do the things that we do. So if we train them how to do it properly, it just makes the whole world go round. You know what I'm saying? It's amazing. So, and then frees us up to make it even better, to continue to dream, I guess we'll call it.
Absolutely. So I'm curious, what was your solution for the boilers? Because I know you talked about this before.
Yeah, so we have a patent pending process. Another company that I have that's called Boiler Systems, where we fit them on a 4-foot wide by 6-foot tall piece of plywood, and then we have it down to building in 2 hours. We literally have a jig that cuts all the boards. I have a makeshift paint booth that we built with a furnace attached to it, where we bake the paint on in 2 minutes or less. And then we have a template. All the hangers go on. We have tape measures that are marked out with every single piece that you need to cut for each size piping. Cut it all, mark it, put it together in less than 2 hours. And then our guys are typically able to do this in less than a day now. So it's pretty cool.
I mean, it's kind of cool.
You know,
just doubling your profits by simply being able to improve efficiency.
Probably more than that, but
well, but like, so here's something like and we've had Billy Stevens on the show, a couple times, and he talks a lot about efficiencies, and
super smart guy.
His number is like 38 or 36% efficient is what the average HVAC business is. You can double that efficiency. I mean, even if you go to 70%, if you're at 35, actually that's a little bit, that's 70%. If you can double your efficiency, that's where their thing of like being able to increase your profits and increase your revenue is just based on simple efficiency in and of itself, right?
Right. And not even that bad, right? When we come up with a process that literally cuts the time in half or into a third, these guys can't even compete with us.
Not even
right?
close.
You know what I'm saying?
No,
you're providing a better service at a better price.
Right.
Yep.
Can't even compete.
You can't.
And our guys are happier.
Right.
Well, you talk about this experience throughout the company, right? Like that's what it's all about. Like you've created a better experience for your team because they can get the jobs done in a third or half the time or even less. They're happier because they're not working until 10 at night. That resonates back to your customers because now your people are happy representing Call the Bee. And then the customers want to buy because those techs are happier. They're not like, oh, my owner's a piece of shit. He's making me work till 10 o'clock at night all the time. It's like, no, actually, I get to go home at 5 o'clock and have dinner with my family or 4:30 or 4 or 6 or whatever time it is, right? That's part of the experience that you can create with it. And so I'm curious, Kim, in terms of like creating this experience, and obviously like the efficiency is one part. What are some of the things that you guys are doing in your office to be able to help get this experience all the way through the entire customer journey?
All right, so we pride ourselves on culture, and we do lots of different things with our team every year. We go to we take them to the Boston Red Sox. We charter buses for them to go up there. We have we had a Christmas or holiday, I guess, celebration at the bowling alley. We have lunches for them. We celebrate successes. We have like messages throughout the day whenever sales comes in, and we celebrate everybody's successes here. We take care of our people. We provide benefits for them. If they have questions and they come to me about private family things, we're here to help. We're here to make their lives better. And I think it's working. Our hearts are in it for them. So that's all. I mean, our culture, we just build it every single day and just
maintain it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
because it's very hard to lose a culture.
right?
Or I'm sorry,
Well,
it's very
very
easy to lose
easy.
a culture.
Very
Sorry.
easy.
Yeah,
Can
absolutely.
go away pretty
Well,
quick.
What is it? Culture erodes 1% a day if you don't continually talk about it.
Right.
I don't know that we heard that stat from an old mentor. I don't know where he heard it from, but like one of the things that he always talked about when we were in a leadership role within that organization is that you're going to continue to say the same thing over and 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 over again to your team, specifically around culture. And I remember asking him one time, like, well, why do we keep talking about the 3 things in this business? And they're still resonating in my head. I haven't been in that business for 3.5 years, and I could probably recite them because we said it every single day. Because when you can constantly talk about those things, and even Amanda Triolo last week, what are they, twice a week? They say their core values out loud as a team, right? Because when you constantly talk about those things, when you constantly bring it forward, it's going to cause people to remember it. And when you erode it, that's where that one bad apple, when they get in there, they're gonna destroy shit, right? And it's, now it's not your team coming to you guys with the one person that needs to leave the business. It's everybody banding against the other things that are good, right? It's just so you got to talk about it.
It's pretty
Random
awesome.
question. I love the random question generator, by the way. That was a complete random segue into it because I know I got to get it in here. So the random question generator, by the way, is brought to you by onpurposemedia.ca because we're Canadian, eh? I said that on a call to somebody and they laughed. We knew about it. So On Purpose Media, your HVAC marketing specialist. So if you're an HVAC business owner, you're like, hey, my marketing isn't that great, or you just don't know and you want to have a second opinion, reach out to us on purposemedia.ca. We'll happy to help you out. Kim, you're up first. You don't actually get to know what the random question is. You just get to choose option 1, 2, or 3, and we're going to tell you the question. So do you want option 1, 2, or 3?
1.
1?
Sure.
What is your spirit animal?
My spirit animal?
And I will give you this. You cannot say, I mean, a bee is not an animal, but you can't use anything in reference to the company.
A puppy.
Why?
Because they're sweet, they're cuddly. That's my spirit animal.
And they bring happiness.
They bring happiness. That's important.
They're welcoming.
Yep. Yeah,
It's very welcoming. That was actually really good, Kim. You are a puppy. You're that's my little puppy over there.
I mean, I could be like an eagle, but I don't think so.
Well, I mean, sort the Eagles. I mean, maybe that's Kenny's. But Kenny, we do have a random question for you too.
I'm gonna pick door number 3.
You know what?
Let's stick with the odd numbers today.
Because he's laughing at the question, and we couldn't have actually planned this any better. If animals,
it's legit. It's 100%.
It's legit. This is legit. I'm like, God, I hope they choose these 2. I hope they choose these 2.
He even highlighted them. So like he full out manifested this. Law of attraction,
right?
Kenny.
Right? If animals could talk, which animal would be the rudest?
Don't say puppy. Just a
no, absolutely not. That is not the answer.
They would not be rude. No.
That's a good question. Man, what are those things in Africa? What the hell is it?
Zebras, lions.
It's not a baboon, but it's a monkey-like animal.
A mandrill?
A lemur?
I don't even know. A lemur spit on people. So yeah, all right, that might be pretty rude. That's a really great question. What would be the rudest animal? Huh. I'm gonna say a Boston Terrier.
Not bad.
Yeah, I got a backstory on that one. Okay.
Well, let's hear it.
So, Boston Terriers are like velociraptors. They got the little short arms, right? And we got neighbors that got like 6 of them. So they're breeders, right? And these things come over and rip over the house. They're in the house. They're freaking biting our dogs and stuff. So I think those animals are pretty rude. We'll go with that.
Amazing.
I thought you were going to say the name Boston in them, but no, I'm kidding.
Yeah, that's totally not wrong.
Yeah, I thought that's where you're going with it.
Yeah. I love it. famous failures. What have been some of your famous or not so famous, if nobody knows about them, setbacks that have set you up for the success that you're having right now?
I would say not playing by the rules. Okay. In one of my first companies, I was not playing by the rules. We have very, very strict licensing here, and I had guys out there doing things that they shouldn't have been doing, and we got caught for it. And I paid about $75,000 in fines, and had to rip a guy's system out. So not all of us are perfect. You know what I'm saying? We all make mistakes. The good news is that every mistake we make, I learn from it and I never do it again. It's part of the college fund. We're paying for college. And we tell our people, let's just pay for as little as possible. Let's go for those scholarships. You know what I'm saying?
That's called learning from other people's mistakes, by the way.
Right.
Which is why we do this part of the show.
Exactly.
It's incredibly important.
Kim, I'm curious to know yours in terms of, your guys's, your opinion on it.
On a failure.
Yeah, your biggest learning lesson from failures.
I guess it would be to not let it get you down. At the time, it can be really all-encompassing, but learn from it. Always keep tomorrow's another day. There's so much more that you can achieve every single day. Just learn from it, move on, dust yourself off, get back up. Tomorrow morning's another day, and just succeed. That's all. Every day.
Fall down 6, get up 7.
That's right.
I love that.
And then climb up to 10.
Mm-hmm.
There you go.
Well, what was it? There was somebody that shared, it was a video or it was a GIF of the guy there was a trampoline and there was a set of stairs, right? And he says, what success looks like. And the guy was walking up a couple stairs, and he falls off and he's trampoline, right? And he bounces back up and he walks up a couple more, and he bounces, he lands, and he bounces, and he lands up, and he walks a couple more, and then he's right at the top, and he bounces, and he gets up, but he can't quite get up to that top stair, and he falls back and bounces, and he probably does that like 5, 6, 7, 8 times, and then boom, finally makes it and gets up to the top. Then what does he do? He falls back down and then jumps back up to the top again, right? And that's really what it's all about.
That much faster.
Yeah,
absolutely.
So
exactly.
the biggest thing is we're all going to make mistakes. No one's perfect. You know what I mean? But as long as we try, we have a good heart, we take care of our people, and we're always moving in the direction of. No, I don't want to steal that girl's thing because she's pretty proud of that. But it is. It's like we're all just moving forward. Put things in the back, learn from that, and just move forward, and you're gonna be all right. You know what I'm saying? Like the guy that when I was getting my license at 19 years old, I will never forget this. They were taking a guy's license away that had been in business for 25 years when I was in there, and I had to actually go and sit in front of the board twice because this many people were in there complaining about this guy's shoddy work. So I'll never forget that. And I was just like, wow, I hope I never do that. And being in business is about taking chances, and I took some chances. I failed. But like I said, just keep moving forward. Try and do the best you can. Be on the level, because you can't get away with anything anymore. Everything is documented. Everything's money in, money out. Where to go? You know what I mean? So so you gotta play by the rules, and you're gonna be all right.
I'm curious about some lessons that you learned in terms of partnerships as well, because in the 2 previous businesses that you were running, you got exited out of both of them in a not so fun way. So curious if you had any insight behind partnerships, what to look for in a business partner, and or any type of working relationship with someone who does own part of your company.
Right. I mean, the biggest thing is just make sure you choose. It's just like when we ask people to come work with us, because essentially we're partnering with the people that come and work with us, right?
Right.
So vet them, make sure they've never had any past previous history of doing this to anybody, which the middle group did. So that was a red flag right there that I should have picked up on. But really, it's all about surrounding yourself with the right people. You know what I'm saying? Because if you don't click, if you got someone, when someone says black and the other one says white, yin and yang, it's never going to work. Everyone has to be rowing in the same direction all the time, right?
Right.
And the second that someone doesn't believe in the culture, or the direction that you want to take the company, or just the direction you're going in, it creates confusion, right? A confused mind says no. Okay. So if we have, and that's what we teach our leadership team, like, hey, listen, if someone's going to ask you this question, what's the answer you're going to give? Because we all need to be talking on the same language. Because if Susie comes over and asks you a question, you tell her this, and then she goes and asks Kim and she tells her something different. It's like that whole mom and dad thing. All right, well, if I know I can get away with this, I'm going to go and ask them to get the right answer. It's just very important that, you pick the right people. You really look at your contracts, make sure you're protected, and then go in and do a great job. Do whatever you said you're going to do, which I did at both companies. We did an amazing job for these people that we partnered with, and sometimes it is what it is. Sometimes we get some life lessons, and we get to be stronger because of it.
Yep.
Right. And sometimes that's literally all we get to walk away from.
Right.
So you grew the first company tremendously over a 10-year span.
16.
Just over. Okay. 16.
Yep.
Next company you came in and you grew substantially over, you said
2 years.
2 years.
Yep.
So exponentially faster there.
Yep.
Started Call the Bee in 2020, correct?
Yep.
And so we're 3 years into it, and
not even 2.5.
Not even 2.5.
Right.
And it's even bigger than the last one in terms of what the growth number was, 0 to what you're at right now.
Correct.
So you've obviously been able to not only learn the lessons of those failures, but apply solutions to how to grow it at an exponential level. So what's next for you in terms of what it is that you're moving into?
What Kim and I have come up with is obviously, like we said, we have a system and a process of doing business, right? And we have this down to pretty much, we can infuse this into companies in 6 months or less, and then provide support on the back end moving forward. And then we have a group of people that we have partnered with to either purchase or infuse money in to continue to grow them. Okay. But the biggest thing is that I'm a visual learner, right? I didn't come up with any of this stuff. I read a lot. I read books. I've read six books numerous times on my rides back and forth from Philadelphia when I was doing that fun gig. And just really just put it into play, think about it, make processes, make videos. And we're able to literally change companies within a couple months, make them profitable, pay off their debt, make them profitable, and then set them up for success with our systems and of how we do business and how we treat our people, how we go through the systems properly. Our training facility that we have built that is now set up so that we can replicate it. Like literally, I have blueprints for every single thing that we did, down to when we make the custom shelving for our vehicles. I have it all laid out on a blueprint. There's these many holes. You draw this line at this mark, and you literally build that thing fast, right? So like if we're not thinking nationwide, we can't go nationwide, right? Mm-hmm. If we're not thinking, if we can't make people's lives better, this is really going to do is just, so like I said at the beginning, Kimmy has always told me since I met her, we want to change people's lives. We want to give back. Okay. So this is our way to give back, is we've built a system. We can come and help you really quickly, make your business very profitable, literally change it within a couple months, and then set you off for success. And then if you want to sell it, you can sell it. If you want to continue on, we can continue on, and we can continue making them very big. Or just, everyone has different comfort levels, but so that's literally what we're looking to do, is start partnering with people, and then just have the opportunity to. This is how we're going to be able to impact the most lives, right? And so we have a small group here that we've impacted. We've had 2 groups before that we were able to impact, and now if we can get this down to 6 months or less, which I think we have it pretty figured out. Would you agree with me, Kim? Now we can really put the pedal to the metal and really change give a lot of people the opportunity to change their lives. So.
Right. Well, and this is something that I had wrote down earlier as well, is that idea of impacting people's lives, and that being a true mission of yours and a true why behind why it is that you do what you do. Right. Without that purpose and that sense of purpose, it's really difficult to get up in the morning. And it's really difficult to get up with the level of passion that you come to work with, to have that higher why. And I know Thad talks about this a lot. That higher why, that higher vision, that higher goal, whatever it is the fuck you want to call it, doesn't really matter.
Sure.
But what is it that is really driving you?
What is it that drives me? People.
Love it.
How? Like people how?
People how? Just being able to meet somebody. Okay. They come into our office, they do our video chats on our interviews, and then come in here, show them the vision, right? Or sell, actually, we're selling them the vision. This is what we want to build here, and we want to continue to build here. Does this sound like something you want to be a part of? And I guarantee it sounds like something that's unbelievable until you show up. And if you want to go ask the other 36 guys in the back over there at our company meeting, they're going to tell you the same thing, right? So it's like I said, it's all about people, right? Everyone, all I hear from I can't find good people. You're not looking. You are not looking. It's a job, right? I got this kid. We pulled him out of Valvoline. He was making $13 an hour, a little over a year, not even a year and a half ago. He sold $2 million this year on our program. You know what I'm saying? The kid made almost 200 grand. That's life-changing. That's life-changing money. You know what I'm saying? And it's not hard. It's not hard. Just we've made our sales system a process. We've made our price book in Service Titan, which we won the first Service Titan of the Year award for, a process so that we can bring anyone into this industry. And when we're coming to where there's no licensing, right? We have wicked licensings here. Right. It is slowing. We would be sorry. Our next location is going to be very fast because we have no licensing to contend with there, and it's going to be pretty cool to see what happens. So I speak a lot about it. What I do a lot, I do that for a reason, right? My why is because I'm here to change people's lives, and I want to affect as many as possible in a positive way. And that's just the bottom line, because what else am I going to do with my time, right? I'm a very simple person. I don't need much. I have a beautiful wife that supports and is my biggest cheerleader. She's just like, let's go, let's do this, right?
What do you need from me?
Right. What do you need from me? I need you to pick up all the shit that I'm fucking up over here. Because I'm blazing the trail, and we'll just make it perfect for me after, right? Here's my thought. Here's what I'm doing. Polish that thing up and make us look awesome. You know what I'm saying?
So would you say that you're the visionary and she's the integrator?
No, not at all, because Kimmy has some really great ideas, and she is the mastermind behind the brands. With the brands, we own about 20 of them right now. We've been purchasing them left and right and dreaming them up for our next what we're gonna do. So I will not take credit for that. That's my wife.
Well, and I think this is something that's incredibly, beautiful, whatever. Yeah. It's amazing.
It's a team.
It's true.
You know what I'm saying?
It really is.
Team.
And even down to the background of knowledge that you two have. And I mentioned this before the show too. Kenny, you went to the School of Hard Knocks, right? You paid your dues by working through difficult situations, had your opportunities to learn, and you took full advantage of it.
100%.
Right? Kim has an MBA. She's got the polished degree, and the knowledge base that the two of you possess together is incredibly powerful. Right. Because you can look at things from so many different angles and find the best solution to help you move forward.
So it's not even that, Evan. We can have conversations that other people can't even have, and then they just look at me like, well, what the hell is this dude talking about? Where Kim is like, okay, what about this? Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? And that's how this happens, right? Right. So, we're pretty smart people. And when you put that together, you know what I'm saying? It helps a lot.
Yeah, no shit.
And then on top of it, just
soundboard.
What's that?
I wish I had a soundboard on our roadcaster of somebody with a horn honking. to be like "Take me home," a little bit. I say that in jest. We got to know Kenny and Kim down in Dallas, but I do want to touch on two quick things because we are coming up close to our hour. You mentioned something, and this is a recurring theme of the businesses that have troubles finding people to hire.
It's going to be a
Businesses
really
that
good.
don't
Wait.
It was going to be an
my
awesome
back now?
question too.
There you are.
So
You're
the
back.
businesses that are having trouble hiring was the last thing you
Right.
said.
Right. And the businesses that have no trouble hiring, the difference between them, and if you go back and listen to every single episode that we've done on people that say, I have no troubles hiring people.
Zero.
Culture.
Always.
Culture. Right. It's easy to recruit somebody into a business if they know about your business and your culture is great. The other part is your team also brings people in, right? We've talked a lot about, and I want to kind of get into this last little topic, and Evan, unless you have something else, but we've talked a lot about processes and repeatable process and being able to duplicate things. And when you look at starting this, and a business might be like, process, what the fuck's that? Some people call it process, some people call it process, depending on what world of the what part of the country you live in, Canada. Where do you begin? How do you do this? How do you implement it? How do you roll it out? How do you get people to buy into these processes that you've created?
Well, you first have to find the inefficiencies, and then you have to develop a framework towards creating a better process. And then you have to train people on what that process is. And then, I mean, you have to have them collaborate as well. So they everybody has so much knowledge. You have to learn from them as well. And then that's how you start, developing your process, and then you put it into place, essentially. I know Ken probably has other ideas, but
Mic drop.
Right? I was just going to say, you know what the beautiful thing is, and we've talked about this before on the show too, like genius is not taking a simple idea and making it complex. It's taking a complex idea and making it simple. And you just did that, Kim. So thank you so much for that.
Right. And we're not always the one that are the brilliant ones. You know what I'm saying? The answer's in the room.
Yep.
Ask the people that are experiencing what's going on. I mean, if it first starts with a question, okay?
Mm-hmm.
And then when you get the training, you need to start with a why. Why are we doing this? Okay.
Right.
Not because I'm a dictator, because I'm not a dictator. Like, you can do it if you want. I suggest you do it. It's going to make your life easier. You know what I'm saying? But it all starts with, okay, what's going on? How can we help? Why is this happening? Okay. And then this is why we need to do it. So, and then this is why your life is going to be so much easier.
Right.
Because of this, right? So it's all about the buy-in.
I love it.
Hopefully we answered that pretty well. Kimmy definitely did.
Yeah, you definitely did. Before we get to our final question, because I just want to leave the floor open to the two of you. Any final thoughts that you want to leave the listeners with? It could be an idea, it could be a tip, it could be something to look forward to, it could be in preparation of mindset, anything you want, anything that you want to leave the listeners with. I'm just going to leave it open to you.
Go ahead, Kimmy, and then I'll.
No, you go first.
No, you go first. I love you more.
Yeah, right. So, so what I'd like to just say is, we live in a world of opportunity. You know what I'm saying? And if you have the drive and you have the balls to go out and do something, just do it. You know what I'm saying? Nike. You can literally, if you put your mind to it and you think about things, right, and you put a plan together, and then you can execute, and then you can be consistent in your message and be consistent with every single thing that you do, so that people are not confused, right, of why things are happening and what's going on. And then also, you got to have that vision, right? Because if people don't know where you're going, they're just walking, like, all of a sudden we're just here, right? We're like cattle, just walking around eating corn, eating eating straw,
Eating some
taking
grass.
shits. You know what I'm saying? You got to have a vision. If you give them somewhere to go and to work towards, then people really want to be a part of something. So, and then, like I said, you can do, like, I was a nuisance in school, man. I didn't belong being there, right? Just because I wasn't, and it's not because I'm not smart. I'm a smart guy. I just wasn't. I wasn't into what was going on. So if like, let's end with this. If your kid is a problem at school, right? It is because he is not engaged, and school is not for him, and a technical high school is for them or her, him or her. Because we have women that are awesome in this industry and awesome at our company, and they are what gets us going. You know what I'm saying? These are the people that ignite us to continue to want to grow this company and provide people with opportunities. Because if no one wants to be a part of it, it just becomes stagnant, then people leave, right? So that's what's happening. But so number one, you can do whatever you want, put a plan together, and if your kid's a problem at school, it's not because he's a problem, right? They're just not engaged. It's not for them. Introduce them to the trades, have them call me. We'll put them in our program, and we'll make them awesome. You know what I'm saying? Sorry.
I love it.
All
Kim,
right,
how
I
about
guess
you?
for me, so one of the things is fear. Don't live in fear ever. Like, wake up and just put the fear aside. Just do what you're doing. Have faith in yourself. Have faith in your abilities. The other thing is control. Like, if you're going through life trying to control everything, it's not going to work. You got to let go. You got to let things happen. I think the more you grasp on to things, the worse things get. So just let go of the control and trust your instincts. I have a gut and I have a feeling. So I have a gut feeling. But yes, trust your instincts. And I think you'll go far.
I love that.
And if you're at the casino, all you need is a chip and a chair.
That's right.
Kimmy's famous words, and then she always comes back with $1,800.
There you go. Well, you need to teach our friend something about that, because he keeps losing money every time he goes.
You can take the job seriously, but you don't have to take yourself seriously.
Right.
If you take life too seriously, you never get out alive.
Right.
I love that. And it's funny you mentioned fear. I had a talk with my kids a little while ago around fear, and I use the acronyms. You know, there's the false evidence appearing real, which I've always really loved. But there was a Tony Robbins one. I had to throw him in there. Thad, you're welcome.
Hey, everybody. It's Tony Robbins.
He said,
that happened to be just on the soundboard. It was perfect.
Let's go walk on some fire.
Right? I've done that with the kids too.
I'm not doing that.
It's actually pretty cool. I highly recommend it. It's really cool.
You go first.
Any day. So the two acronyms that he
really
uses
fast
for fear: face everything and rise, or fuck everything and run. And when I told my kids that, naturally they're like, well, I want to face up and rise, but the other one says fuck, and that's really funny. So I'm just going to say fuck everything and run. And so they ran around the house afterwards saying fuck everything and run, fuck everything and run.
Yeah.
So yeah, the lesson wasn't necessarily hitting home with them on that one, but
nah, maybe next year.
Maybe next year. We'll see. We've introduced swearing Sundays as a result of this, but
awesome. They're called sentence enhancers.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. I've heard that people who curse and use profanity naturally tell the truth more often. So
That must be Kent.
Right. I've done very well today.
He's like the most truthful person on the face of the earth.
I don't think I think I've got myself so under control. I don't think I did one F-bomb today.
Oh no, you did.
Did I?
Did. Yeah.
I don't even know I'm doing it.
You snuck a couple in there.
That's how much I love that word.
I mean, there is no more useful word.
It is.
There is no more useful word in the English language.
It's got
adjective,
numerous.
I was just going to say it could be an adjective, verb, and noun in the same sentence. Fuck the fucking fuckers.
Yeah, you fucking fuck.
Right? Exactly.
Yeah. Got that.
All right.
I feel much better now.
Perfect. I did it just for you.
Meanwhile, Kim's like, oh, God.
Yeah. Ken's embarrassing me again.
Keyword is again, so she's had it happen before.
Oh, yeah, 10 years of it.
Awesome.
Still comes back for more. That's why I love her.
And for those of you that can't tell, and I love that Thad started off the show with this and like working with a partner, working with a spouse. If you look in the window behind Ken where his monitors are, for anyone that's listening to this afterwards, that's Kim's forehead right there. She's just above the monitors. So they work right on the opposite side of the computer screens from each other, which is so cool in the office. So I love that about you two.
Oh yeah.
I was so just in full disclosure on that. I was wondering, I'm like, is that her over there? I'm like, who's sitting on the other side? I'm like, I'm trying to watch her, like her move her head to see if it moves on his screen.
Yeah. The good news was she didn't have to stand up and look at me out of the camera and say, "What the fuck are you talking about?"
I was waiting for just like one of these to flip up in the mirror.
We stayed under control today.
You did.
I could be intense.
Really?
Yeah. Nah,
it doesn't sound like you at all.
Nah.
Final question. What's one question that you wish people would ask you more, but they don't?
That's a great question. Well, so other leaders in the space can definitely I want to word this properly. They can relate to this. When you're at the top of an organization or you're the leader, other people you never get asked how you're doing. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? So I don't need people to do that. I'm a very happy guy, but we always ask how people are doing. Sometimes it's good to hear back from them because everyone's going through things. It doesn't matter who you are in life. You could be the president of the United States. You could be the janitor sweeping the floors. We all got things going on. Just stay in tune with your people. Stay in tune with yourself. Hey, how's it going? It's a very simple thing to make sure things are good and everyone's on the same page and everyone's happy. Right. So does that make sense?
Yep, 100%. I'm curious, and actually, as a leader, No. As a leader within that, asking that question, how do you read through the bullshit when anyone says, whether male, female, doesn't matter, I'm fine, I'm good. They give that kind of bland response. How do you read through that bullshit when they're actually there is something going on? They're just afraid to talk about it, or they think that you don't care.
I think you already gave the answer. Mm-hmm. They give you a bland response. No, I'm okay. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. I'm sorry. You can kind of tell because you can see patterns in people. You can see their mannerisms. Are they coming in late a little bit, or do they look frustrated? Is their job performance like what's happening there? Like you can kind of tell. Do they just look sad?
Are they engaged, not engaged?
Right. And we have a employee assistance program here, so anytime anybody could talk to a therapist, anything. It's confidential, but I think it's an important program to have in any organization.
Extremely.
So just asking people how they're doing.
Right.
You know what I mean?
I'm curious, Kim, can you elaborate on the employee assistance program? And I'll finish up my point after you elaborate on it, but I do want to know more of what you guys do there.
Okay, so it's actually not expensive for a company to have one of these, so there's a lot of value there. But what it does is if you see someone having problems, or you might notice that they maybe have you can tell maybe there's substance use or maybe problems at home, you could or they even tell you something that's going on in their life. There's a program called an employee assistance program. They can go to a therapist. They can, and it's basically an insurance program, and they can talk through. There's I think 10 different sessions you can go to, and it's completely free, completely confidential, and hopefully it'll help these people out. If they have problems, and I think it's like, again, I said, it's very valuable for any organization to have.
I know, I love that. And what I was going to say earlier is, and I can't believe that I didn't. I wanted to actually talk about this at the very beginning of the show, and I completely missed it. But January 25th here in Canada is called Bell Let's Talk Day, and it's actually a day, and it really shouldn't just be a day. It should be 365 days a year, 366 every 4 years, on bringing light to mental health issues and mental health awareness and having conversations around it. It's okay to not be okay, right? Kenny, you even said earlier, like, everybody has their own shit. Everybody has everything. Like there's other things going on in their life that may potentially affect them in their work, or that they just need to get off their chest, or they just need to have a conversation of. Anybody that has a 19-month-old kid knows exactly what I'm talking about when your kid lies on the floor and screams for 15 minutes, because that's what we're going through twice a day in our household right now. But again, I mean, that's not the mental health part of things, but I mean, it weighs on a person, right? So having those conversations, being open, raw, real, and vulnerable, but also allowing your employees a space to be open, raw, real, and vulnerable. We've had past guests on our show that have a mental health therapist on retainer, right? If you guys don't have that in your business, do it, right? This employee assistance program that you guys are talking about, it's free to you guys, right? It's free. I mean, maybe you guys pay and it's free to the employee. Either way, be a champion for them and their mental health, because everybody has their own shit and they need assistance at some point in their life or not. Whether you're the happiest guy on the planet or not, you need to talk about it with somebody.
Yep. Exactly.
So Ken, how you doing?
I'm chilling.
Okay.
Trying not to talk so much. I'm trying to give other people some time. I'm working on that.
You're doing a great job of it. Are you self-conscious about that?
No, I'm playing with this pen because I can't sit still. Sorry.
It's all right. I'm sitting here twirling my drink in my hands. So
you're like me. I've got a pen and I'm clicking it a lot, and I have to have a pen in my hand when I'm having conversations. Or it's funny. I have these right here on my desk too. You do that, or I got the fidget spinner too. So
there you go.
We all have something.
Like taking this thing apart, putting it back together.
That's it. Yep. All
gotta
day
continuously be building things.
Kim, what is one question that you wish people would ask you more, but don't?
I mean, I think they could come to me and ask me for advice. I think sometimes they may be afraid to open up, but I'm always here. I always acknowledge, what they're going through, and just ask me questions. I have a lot of experience, and I'm willing to share anything with anyone. So feel free to ask, just
ask away.
Just ask any questions. Yeah.
Well, and in case you do want to get out with them, get in touch with them. We actually have their website, Call the B, just one letter, B.com. I'm going to guess that we actually have Ken's, but we don't have Kim's. I'm going to guess yours is Kim at Call the B. So we have Ken at calltheb.com. And we have Kim.
So you reach out to Ken if you need like that emotional, passion filled. If you want like the simplistic,
you need motivation,
straight to the point.
Let's go.
Yeah, that's Ken. You want the like simple, straight to the point. Reach out to Kim. She's gonna tell it to you straight,
right? In a much more delicate way.
Yeah, very succinct.
And of course, like and follow them on Facebook, facebook.com/call the B 2 E's CT.
Excellent.
Amazing. You two have been absolutely fantastic.
It's been a lot of fun, guys. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
It's been a lot of fun.
Hell yeah.
And even some of the comments, like we have amazing, right? David Anderson, these guys are inspirational. Josh Ferguson, Martin Perez, fire signs happening on there. Dan Antonelli, did your brand, great team and leadership. They're crushing it. Fire statement, right? So from Timothy Stanley. So lots of comments popping off in there of the amazing things that you guys are bringing to the table here. And I want to be the first to thank you for being authentic and real today with everyone and just everything that you guys do. I know having met you guys down in Dallas and having those conversations, just great things. Can't wait to see what the future has in store for you guys and your next. Well, I don't want to give away your age, but until you hit your retirement age, the great things that you guys are going to do.
Thanks, man.
Thank you.
And even then, his retirement is probably just going to be like coaching other people. So he's still going to be in business.
That's what we do.
Yeah. Yeah. Put him on vacation. He can't even sit on it. He's got to sit on his hands just to say
One day I'm going to learn how to be a little bit more humble, I think. I'm really working on it. It's hard for me, but just so everyone knows I'm working on it. It's an ongoing process.
But also, I mean, I know we're wrapping up, but like that's also something to be really cognizant and aware of. Like, what are actually in the comments with Timmy Stanley, we're talking about the Gallup's Clifton Strengths Assessment and knowing your strengths, but living within your strengths. But it also focuses on your 5 key weaknesses and knowing what some of those are, but being able to leverage those into your strengths, right? And when you know those things, when you know some of your shortcomings, and you're like, hey, I want to be a better leader. I want to be a better spouse. I want to be a better parent. I want to be whatever. Insert this in here. Now you can recognize those things, right? And you're like, hey, I'm working on being a little bit more humble. You know, that resonates true with me because I had that same message once to me when I was like 20 selling knives. Like, you got to be a little bit more humble. I'm like, what's humble?
Yeah.
I mean, look up on my phone what the definition of humble is. Like, I had no clue. Right? And so, but also knowing that, right? When you have these things that we're going to work on, when you see your growth within yourself, like you look back and you see where you've came. It's a huge thing to be able to see the growth that you've had in yourself, not measuring where you want to go, but where you've came, right? The gap in the gain. Dan Kennedy talks about that a lot in his book, you know, measuring your where you've came from, which is a big thing. If you don't have those things that you're fine-tunedly working on in yourself, you need to really look back at yourself as a leader and say, hey, how can I do that? Right.
Right.
I'm really curious, Dad. Like, what rotary phone did you use to look up what the meaning of humble was? You old fuck.
That one with the little thing on the wall.
No, I'm pretty sure Google existed back then, and it might have been on a desktop computer.
Okay, there we go. That makes more sense.
No, there were cell phones then. I don't know if Google's around in that point in time.
I think he got it in when we used to have the car phones within that zipper, that huge thing. You had to plug it in the cigarette lighter. What's up?
Or the better one is when you're driving around in your car and you have the portable CD player with a cable going into the cassette tape.
Right. No auxiliary.
Right,
right,
and not auxiliary, but
plug into your Walkman,
right? So you take your, like, I had a Walkman too, but like this is your portable CD player, and every time you went over bumps in your car, it would skip because it was the CD player put into the cassette into your car with a cable, and you had to have your portable your CD player plugged into your lighter so you could power it so it wouldn't die out.
Yeah, I don't remember that.
No, not at all.
Watch from your memory bank.
Awesome. Ken, Kim, thank you so much. Truly appreciate you for coming on, getting to know you a little bit better. And the coolest part for me is who you were in Dallas is the same as who you are right now. It truly doesn't matter. That to me is the definition of being authentic. And absolutely. I feel like who you are right now is the same as who you are with your team. And that's how culture is created. So thank you so much for being leaders within the organization, within your team. And I'm so fucking pumped to see what it is that you're going to do next as you help more and more business.
Right. Kim will be at the Women in Charge thing this week. So whoever's there, she'll be there. You can talk to her.
Absolutely.
So
love it.
Amazing.
You guys are awesome, man. Thank you for having us on.
Until next time.
Cheers.
Cheers.
So, call the bee.
Well, that's a wrap on another episode of HVAC Success Secrets Revealed. Before you go, 2 quick things. First off, join our Facebook group, facebook.com/groups/HVAC Revealed. The other thing, if you took one tiny bit of information out of this show, no matter how big, no matter how small, all we ask is for you to introduce this to one person in your contacts list. That's it. That's all. One person. So they too can unleash the ultimate HVAC business. Until next time, cheers.